Sovereign. I can't even talk this morning. I'm going to be doing a neck set on it, but first things first, the bridge had a little bit of a gap. You know, it didn't seem to be pulling away major, it just wasn't fitted perfectly. So I just, on a spatula, I laid in a little watered down hide glue in there to kind of make a seal and make sure that no more moisture seeps in there or whatever and compromises the glue joint. I'll clean that up too. It's water-based glue, so I can clean that up nice and then put in a little lacquer around there and make it look nice and tidy. And then I'll release the string tension. Actually, I should probably release the string tension now and see if I get any squeeze out. Let me do that. Nope, I did not get any more squeeze out. It tells me that this bridge is pretty stable. I like taking a wet paper towel on a spatula and cleaning it up like this. See all that glue? I can take the other side now and go the other way, clean it up a little. Yeah. And then take a dry paper towel and do that. Well, it's kind of dirty looking. Just film a little bit of this as I go. That's the air conditioning running. Got my iron. I got some of that low tack tape down underneath that sheet metal or sheet steel. I got mom's old iron. Got a bag of lead shot holding down the neck. This after about 15 minutes. 10-15 minutes. I've already gone in with this fret protector is just to help protect that little inlay there. Just see how the glue feels. Kind of hard. A little soft spot there. This rounded edge knife lets me begin to get in around the edges. I don't know, that feels like it's giving away. I can see the heat. Yeah, I can see the glue. I can wash. I can wash off some of that glue. Some water. It's good to kind of get some water in there too, I think. Look at that. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's you can smell it too. Go in there with one like this. And there's sort of a cutting edge. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There it goes. Getting sticky. Can heat up the edge on the iron. And that glue's getting kind of sticky. That's how I do it. Keep working at it little by little until I get all the way around. So that glue gets real soft. I'm going to clean up, heat it up a little more. Next thing I noticed already that the 15th fret had a little gap under it already, so I just went in from the middle and started pinching, and it seems like it's coming right up. Didn't have to go in, you know, usually I start on the end. Now, it might have been glued in there. Usually it would have popped right out by now. I think this neck's been set before. They didn't put in a wedge. Yeah, it's glued in pretty good. Oh, what kind of solvents should I use? A little acetone. Acetone won't hurt the wood. It'll screw up the finish if I get it on the finish, but it won't hurt the wood. You know, or razor blade that I took the handle off of. Just get a feel for what's going on here. You kind of felt the barbs, the fret barbs. See if that acetone solvent, it softened that glue. I had some evidence of Gorilla Glue in another spot. I don't see any evidence of a neck reset or a hole drilled. I'll be darned if this is the first time this neck's been reset, but it's quite possible. Take a look down in there. Doesn't look like anybody's ever drilled a hole. So I'll be the first. Okay, this is 5/64 in diameter. And so I gotta have a 5/64 bit. I'm gonna go in reverse. I'm gonna go forward. Alright, there's the neck resetting jig. There's my little steamer. And there's a towel stuffed down in the hole. And I got another towel that I'm gonna stuff back here, I guess, just in case I get a little steam coming out. Sometimes steam will come out here and drip down the back and then get back here and destroy the finish. There's also a big repair back here in a crack. So I might put some more of this tape on there. Yeah, I'll do that first. Okay, so I went in, I just shoot little bursts of like 10 seconds at a time through this hole and that hole. And be careful to wipe up any steam. I give it a little wiggle, and then you can come in here and start turning this screw, and the neck starts coming right out. It didn't take much. And I don't have a tripod down here in the garage, so I'm just gonna kind of hold it with one hand and turn the screw with the other. But it's ready to come off. I gotta be pretty quick with cleaning up any water that might be on the body and stuff. So I'm gonna put the camera down and clean up any water or steam and start up again. This is actually quite a lot of glue to be putting in this part of the pocket. You really don't need glue on this. You just need it on the edges over here. Yeah, it was a little overboard, but I'm going to clean it up while it's still warm. And put the camera down again. Clean that out with some Q-tips. Smells like an antique store. Alrighty. Normally I'd be on to doing some whittling to the dovetail to get this thing to fit, but it turns out this bridge does not come right out, you know, like it's supposed to. And so I'm heating up the soldering iron. I don't know if it's gonna help. It's like a bone material. Ooh, it's kind of, maybe it's not bone. I don't know. Would bone burn like that? Let's see what happens here. I don't know. Just kind of guessing. Starting to stink. I guess that does kind of smell organic. I've never burnt bone before. It's the first time for everything. I don't know what's going to happen here. Seems to be wiggling. Oh yeah, heating it up helped. Oh wow. Whoa. That was crazy. This is not, oh, it's plastic. That is a pretty shallow slot. That's a very shallow slot there. I'm gonna be able to deepen that, which is cool. Glad I got that out. I kind of thought it was bone, but I was worried about taking the Dremel or, having to plane it down and stuff, but all right, cool. Mission accomplished. Now I can get to work on some other stuff. I don't need to take a giant amount of material off this neck heel, so I'm going to go somewhere in between a 32nd and a 64th of an inch. I'm going to go with 0.75 millimeters. Score this. If I can. Score it. There. You can kind of see. I'm just going to score the end. I'll come in and I'll start chiseling like that. I've got a few different chisels that I might use. Not quite to that line. Let's try another 10 strokes. I'll do 10 kind of right in the middle there. At that point, it didn't need that much. That probably wasn't enough yet, but I'm going to dry fit it and run the sandpaper across there and see what kind of angle we got. Quite a bit of wood coming off of that. I'll do the other side. I think some guys prefer to kind of rip it out real fast. I like to just kind of inch it out. Alright, let's try this angle. I'm kind of worried my hand will be in the way, but This wood feels pretty soft, so things happen real quick at this point. I feel like I've already made a big difference, even though I didn't work on it for very long. I don't want to overdo it. I want to get one right here in the middle. A little swipe or two. This is my first time trying these graining pencils. I had a little brown shellac. Kalamazoo brown, that was just one drop. And I kind of, I used the epoxy putty. That's what it is. This is the first time trying this stuff. You knead it up, push it down in the little holes. Then I brushed on some shellac, which I don't know if I really needed to now that I got these graining pencils. These are wonderful. This brown is just perfect. I could really make a habit out of using these. Here's all my chemicals. About 1.5 pound cut of shellac, clear shellac, a little denatured. And I'll give it a little wipe. Looks pretty good. I don't know if I showed the wiping action. I'll do it on the second coat anyway. So after one coat, vast improvement. I'm already happy. Seems to be a dark spot right there. That's fair to do. I don't know if that worked. All right, let's try another wiping here. Put a little shellac on this pad. Little shellac goes a long way. I reconstituted that real dark Kalamazoo brown. Just want to see what this does on the wings. Just on a cotton ball. Just want to darken up those wings a little bit. Kalamazoo. Just one drop will do when you got the Kalamazoo. This is the carbon paper trick that I picked up from Ted Woodford's videos. He's been so helpful with his videos. Kind of gives you an idea where you need to go with the fit. Almost there. Need to get her to sit down in there a little bit tighter. I'm gonna try that carbon paper thing one more time. But I got the fret back in. So hopefully you can see I popped that carbon paper and there's a black spot there and there. I don't know if you can see that with all them shadows there, but we can kind of whittle that away right there. Kind of whittle it away back there. Looks like there might be a little here. Yep. This rosewood veneer, it's kind of hard to see the carbon paper, you know, it kind of looks like part of the grain line. Oh yeah, it looked like right here. Right here on the tip is holding it all back. Okay, now it should seat in there pretty snug. Pretty good. Pretty nice fit right there. It's not wobbling in any direction. So it's pretty much ready to be glued up. This is nice. Perfect fit. Whether I put a little wedge up here or not, maybe not. Let me see how much gap I got. There is a gap under the fretboard extension. See it there? You can see the light. It's hard to see in this shadow, but if I push this down, just that whatever millimeter that it is, that gap, it just makes the strings look like they're way too high above these frets. I know it doesn't look like much, but it's huge when you're a guitar player and you're finicky about what's going on up there. Maybe you want to go play a note up here, and you don't want to have this fret a millimeter lower than this one. It just takes a quick dive. Anyways, the body of this guitar kind of takes a dip here too, so it's more dramatic than it seems. That's why I'm gonna make a little wedge, a little veneer wedge. Always got the dehumidifier going out here because this is Nashville, Tennessee, most humid place on earth. Hi. Got some 120 grit sandpaper on a block of wood. A little scraper action, just a razor blade with a burnished edge. I can kind of bend it, give me a little convex shape to it. scraped. Got this razor blade here. I was scraping her. And I was sanding her with this 120 grit. I was just whittling away. Then I was coming around to try to get the tape off. Wishing I had a lot longer razor blade. I'm sure I had some. Does this peel right off? Yeah, it peels off pretty easy. No worries. Nice. There's where I need to cut it now so it fits around the dovetail. And I can glue it on. Cool. Figured maple.
She's clamped.
There it is.
A wedge.
I ended up replacing those binder clips with some small screw clamps and some other clamps that were more rigid. You know what I like to use for removing the excess veneer is the fret removing pliers to get it down to where I can just use a file and some sandpaper. That piece on the end there might be a little tricky. That's the thickest part right there, so. It works good. Now I can just take a file and some sandpaper and then use a little stain to get it a reasonable color. Right now I'm widening and deepening the saddle slot to give me a little more substance. I can make a little more hardy saddle. Right now I'm at about 3 millimeters. I'm going to go down a little bit further. I'm going to do one more swipe. Alright, that's the Stumac saddle sliding jig. Look at this beautiful jig. Isn't she nice? Very nice. Gonna be hot in Nashville today. I found a saddle. It says 7/64. I guess that's what it is. I overslotted it. It's a little wider than, I didn't go right down the center of the original slot. I went a little behind it, I guess, and I ended up having a little wider slot than I wanted. Hey, the wider the better. I took that sucker and I took the half pencil, which you can make on the grinder, and I actually put another 3/32 saddle there and drew me a little line. Now I'm going to take it over to the grinder, belt sander, and maybe the bandsaw. Yeah, let's go to the bandsaw. Just a hop, skip, and a jump across the garage to the bandsaw now. Okay, so this is a roughed-in bone saddle. It's a hell of a lot easier using a bandsaw than a jeweler's saw. And now I'm over here at the other side of the garage. wide saddle, I'm going to be able to do some compensation on it too. The pickguard material is that tortoloid stuff. Gotta put it in a little pan of hot water, cut it out, and then starting with files, and then sandpaper, a little bevel on the edge. I'm up to 800 grit right now, and I'll work my way up to 1200 grit and call it a day. I'm going to stick it on there with hide glue. There you have it. So the very, very last thing I'm going to do, I already did, was sand all the frets down with 320 grit all the way up to 1500 grit, and maybe a little polishing compound. I had it strung up with 12s for a week, and the neck is completely flat with a loosened truss rod, so I'm going to throw on some 13s and see if I can get a little relief in the neck over the next 4 or 5 days and give it back to the customer. See how it does.